Hey, what's up? What's up? Joe in Vegas back with another review. Kelly Clarkson, her new residency at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace, was supposed to kick off last weekend. I'm sure you heard if you're listening to this. It was all over the news. She canceled it literally an hour before the show. I had tickets for Saturday night, so I got the emails. Pretty surprised. You don't see that often that they cancel that close to a show, but clearly she got sick enough. I feel terrible for her diehards that had to fly out, and I mean, that's just a nightmare scenario for those people to spend all that money, but it happens. You know, the news did what the news does, and it took that story and it ran with it, and they turned her into a monster, and it's just, I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. She is human. She gets sick. It happens. She probably was working her ass off to get the show right and couldn't sing. And so either way, she came back this weekend. So this weekend became the opening weekend. I went to go check it out. Caesar's Palace, since, you know, I've been in Vegas 13, 14 years now, almost 15. You know, they used to have Celine Dion and Elton John. Those were like the crown jewels of Caesars. I mean, they were money makers. They set the bar. They defined what a Las Vegas residency should be. Big productions, elegant productions. And Caesars lost both of them. And I feel like since then they've been struggling to find replacements. Rod Stewart's been a good replacement. So what I've been seeing these last bunch of years is that they start off and they put people in Planet Hollywood that Caesars owns, and they do a residency there. And then I guess depending on ticket sales, on whatever math, casino math that they do, if they feel that, okay, this could work at Caesars, they'll move them over to the, you know, prestigious Coliseum and see what happens. And I've seen that a lot, like with Keith Urban, and sometimes they just make it to the Coliseum and it just doesn't work. The venue's either too big or whatever it is. It just didn't work. So looks like they're trying that with Kelly now, which I think it's well deserved. She definitely deserves to be there. This girl is I don't need to get into the backstory, but everybody knows she won American Idol, and which a lot of people do, and most of them don't turn out to be anything. But her and Carrie Underwood and a few others really took that ball and ran with it and built a huge career to the point that she doesn't even sing a moment like this anymore in her set list. She doesn't need it. She's built her own hits and her own thing. Look, she is, what's the word? Infectious. She's an infectious person. She is so damn likable. And when you have someone that's that down to earth, that has such a gift in her voice and has written or has sung other people's songs that are that good, it's a recipe for nothing but success, and that's what she's had for the last probably 20 years. I don't know how long it's been. Yeah, it's probably 20 years. Let's get into the set list because I know a lot of people want to see that. The stage there is awesome. I've always loved that Caesars Coliseum stage. It's so big and it's so wide. And what she did was she calling it these stripped-down acoustic shows. That's what the studio sessions, that's what she calls it. And what she did with the stage was she built it to make it look like a studio. It really looks like a studio. Very comfortable. There's couches in the back, which some people were sitting there during the show, which I thought was kind of neat. I've never seen that before. You know, there's stuff on the walls. It just had this feeling that you were in a studio and they were recording an album. She must have had 20 different musicians on stage, and she kind of talked about it and said these are like all the musicians that have been part of her albums and part of her life over the last 20, 25 years, and she brought them all back for the show. You know, they were all guitarists at different phases and stuff like that. So, you know, she felt comfortable. It looked very comfortable. She was dressed very comfortable. She was wearing a T-shirt and jeans, and I think that was the vibe they were going for. Now, you know, the Celine Dion, the Elton, there was always very elegant shows, and I know Gaga does their jazz thing, which is very elegant. This, you know, Kelly made an obvious decision to tone it down and make it who she is, which is, you know, a girl from Texas, homebody, down-to-earth Kelly Clarkson. And that's why she's had her success on her show. You know, she's just a very down-to-earth girl, and she brought that vibe for sure. And it worked. I think it worked. I think it was great. Let me get into the set list because there's just so many hits. She started with Me, Walk Away, Heat, Dance With Me, Behind These Hazel Eyes, Heartbeat Song. That was a song I didn't even know was her song. I've heard that song many times. I didn't know it was her. Breakaway, which I love. I really love that song. I think that was for Avril Lavigne, or Avril Lavigne wrote it and gave it to her or something. But or I don't know. There's some story there, but great song. Didn't I? Because of You, Mine, Catch My Breath, which I think she did it as more of a ballad, if I remember correctly. A Beautiful Disaster. Piece by Piece, which apparently is a song that she keeps rewriting over and over again every few years. I didn't know that, but it's kind of interesting for an artist to do that. She's been around 20, 25 years. Every 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years, you kind of change as a human. You go from married to divorce. I know she has a really messy divorce going on. So, you change as a human. I think it's kind of interesting for an artist to go back and take a song that was about heartbreak or whatever it's about, and then rewrite it every 10 years based on how you're feeling and how you've healed and how you've grown and stuff like that. I think that's kind of neat. Then she did Miss Independent. Then she did Sober, Favorite Kind of High, My Life Would Suck Without You, which was a monster song. Tightrope, Stronger, What Doesn't Kill You. She closed with that. Came back for the encore. Did Where Have You Been? She did a cover of Beggin, which is it says here Måneskin cover, but it's a Four Seasons song. I know Måneskin did it, more rock. And then closed with Since You've Been Gone. So many hits. I mean, look, her personality is fantastic. And I think having her show, I never watched her show, but I think that's really made her comfortable in storytelling and hosting and in allowing her personality to really shine. And she's really good at doing that. Really good. I thought she was very funny. She told a lot of stories between songs. It just felt very comfortable. It was a really good show. It was a really, I said it for my last review for Backstreet Boy. If the goal of this is entertainment, let's stop being so critical of everything and just remember what we're there for, to be entertained. She has a lot of heartbreaking songs, which I always say in live shows also is really good. You start to connect. You feel a connection to an artist when they're sitting there pouring their soul out to you on stage. And someone like Kelly Clarkson with that kind of voice that you can feel the pain in the voice and it just goes right through you. You just connect, and there's this connection there. But she also, on the flip side of that coin, is very funny. She's a very funny, charming girl. And it just works. All of that mixed with great songs is a recipe for everything. And that's what she delivers. And she delivers a great show. I mean, it's a big task to work to be given this, here, we're looking for someone to carry the torch at this Coliseum. If you can hit it out of the park and you put together a great show that people love, you can be here for the next 20 years of your life, and we will pay you millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to be here. And as someone who's a mom with 2 kids, I think it's appealing to have this kind of base. I'm sure she still wants to tour, but to have this home base in Vegas, which a lot of artists do now, it's very appealing for an artist. Scale of 1 to 10, I am going to give it a 9.1 out of 10. I know all my reviews seem to be high, but I am very lucky. I get to go to these are the best of the best. These shows and these artists are the best of the best. And this is definitely worth the show. I would highly suggest you, if you're thinking of coming out, if you're a fan, you're going to be in heaven. If you're not a fan, there's so many hits. It's so enjoyable. She's very charming. It's a legendary venue to see anybody. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Subscribe, comment if you were there. Let me know what you thought, and I will see you at the next show. Bye-bye.